Tigray military has made a big decision, not just Tigray military, both Tigray military and TPLF. They want to implement this decision in the next few days. The decision could have consequences for unity in Tigray. Secondly, is Eritrea trying to cover up its embarrassment which it faced at the UN Human Rights Council? Eritrean Minister of Information responded to what happened at the UN Human Rights Council. Let's start with this story. We know that Eritrea tabled a resolution was tabled at UN Human Rights Council to put an end to the mandate of UN Special Rapporteur on Eritrea, who is monitoring human rights situation in Eritrea, but he's not allowed to visit Eritrea. Eritrean government did not allow him to visit Eritrea since he was appointed as special rapporteur around a decade ago. Eritrea denies human rights abuses on its soil. It has been rejecting the mandate of the special rapporteur from day one. It tried to put an end to the mandate through a resolution which was put to vote at UN Human Rights Council 2 days ago. 23 opposed the resolution, only 4 supported it, and 20 abstained from voting. So majority opposed the resolution. It means that the UN Special Rapporteur on Eritrea will continue. His mandate will be renewed. Eritrea could not convince even African countries to vote for this resolution. Ethiopia, Eritrean neighbor, also opposed the resolution, opposed Eritrea. Yemeni Gebremeskel, Minister of Information of Eritrea, yesterday criticized EU after the failure of this resolution. He said that global relics of global architecture are basically being used to punish those countries which don't submit to the dictates of those which are yielding power, like EU. These groups like EU, etc., they want everyone to submit to their dictates. They use issue of human rights as an excuse to punish those who oppose the policies, of such groups like EU. Now, Eritrea accused EU as if EU was behind the failure of the resolution tabled or backed by Eritrea. But what about African countries? I mean, Kenya did not support the resolution. Ghana, Gambia, Morocco, these African countries did not support the resolution. Only Sudan and Burundi supported Eritrea. Ethiopia voted against the resolution. Kenya, Morocco, Ghana, Gambia abstained from voting. Eritrea could not get support from Africa. Yes, EU countries also opposed the resolution, France, Germany, Ireland, others. But interestingly, Yemeni called those countries which are non-EU countries and they oppose the resolution as proxies, as stooges of EU. So I think Eritrea did not do its homework well. It should have done its work of diplomacy first before putting this resolution to vote. Now it's trying to cover up the failure at the UN Human Rights Council. Now, it's many stories from Tigray where it seems that a decision has been made by Tigray military and TPLF. The decision is about governments in southern Tigray and southeastern Tigray, in some parts of southeastern Tigray and in entire southern Tigray. These governments, local governments, are anti-TPLF. They're opposed to top tier of Tigray military. They accuse Tigray military commanders of supporting TPLF. They're pro-Getachew. And since Getachew was removed from power in March this year, TPLF and Tigray military have been uh, uh, trying to dismantle these governments in southern Tigray and southeastern Tigray. But TPF fighters have been threatening, they've been warning Tigray military and TPLF. They've been saying if anyone tried to overthrow, they call it overthrow southern Tigray government, they will intervene militarily. And people say these TPF fighters are backed by southern Tigray government. But now it seems that decision has been made that enough is enough. That if southern Tigray government, zonal government, border governments are not dismantled, TPF will be strengthened. And then it will become very difficult for Tigray military and TPLF to dismantle the local, Wareda and zonal level governments. So in coming days, you could see similar moves which were made by military and TPLF in Adagat, in Gudam, where they snatched official seals, they dismantled pro-Getachew governments, and governments backed by TPLF were put in place there. Same could happen. Why is that now this decision has been made? They made a similar decision a few months ago too, but they could not implement it. Why? Because TPF warned of repercussions. I think they did not allow TPF to gain a foothold in Tigray. Tigray Peace Force fighters entered Vajirat this week, but they could not establish their presence there. Tigray military confronted them. TPF fighters had to retreat from Vajirat. Then Tigray military entered Tonsa and fired at TPF fighters. TPF fighters have been pushed back into Afar from southern Tigray. And Tigray military is making deployments on Afar Tigray border to prevent the entry of TPF fighters into Tigray from Afar. Maybe Tigray military believes that TPF is not in a position to challenge Tigray military. And this is the time to dismantle governments in southern Tigray, because TPF is on the run and TPF fighters are back in Afar and Tigray military is on Afar border. And TPF won't be able to intervene in southern Tigray. This is what the assessment is reportedly. The assessment was discussed at the meetings held this week, top level meetings of Tigray military and TPLF leaders. Decision made, will it be implemented? All that depends on TPF, I think. If TPF fighters show that they will go to great lengths to stop the dismantlement of southern Tigray government and they're ready to fight, then maybe the government in Tigray will survive, southern Tigray. Otherwise, I think military and TPLF are going to take action very soon against Hafto Kiros-led southern Tigray government. Thank you for watching.